We're going to learn more about the CASA program and how maybe you can get involved. Joining us today, the Executive Director of Crime Victim Services, we have Amy Weekert-Bailiff with us today. And thanks for coming, Amy.
Yes, great to be here.
Okay, so let's start out. I think CASA's been around for quite some time in our area, right?
2014 is when the CASA program started. So we're getting close to that 10-year mark, which is exciting. Been invested and involved in the community since that time, just continuing to grow and solidify what we do for children.
And maybe people don't know, what is this court-appointed advocate, right, for the children?
Yes, so long name, court-appointed special advocates, and that essentially is a trained community volunteer who represents the best interests of a child in a child welfare case. So they are there gathering information on behalf of the child, better understanding their circumstances, what their needs are, and ultimately then they're providing information to the court to make a recommendation on the child's best interest. It's really important for the judges and magistrates in those cases to be able to have a full picture of what's happening so that the long-term needs and safety of children can be met, and that's where a CASA comes in.
Okay, so what kind of situations are the kids in typically that, they come in?
So anytime children serve, we're not involved in CASA cases unless there's a court case and Children's Services is involved. So they're one of the partner professionals, but we're an independent provider in that situation. So we're getting to know all of the professionals. So the caseworker who's involved with the family, if there's been a removal, sometimes we're visiting foster homes or we're visiting family members. And other times kids can still be in the home. We're just working with families to improve the situation that brought them in. And then any of the partner professionals that are involved with the family, maybe therapists. We're always gathering information from the schools to do some educational advocacy, make sure children are on track. That's who we're involved with.
So I think the neat thing is, if people are interested in this, you have extensive training, and that's what we're going to want to talk about, because there's sessions coming up where people are like, well, maybe I want to do this, and they can learn more, right?
Definitely. So we recognize this is a big responsibility in terms of a volunteer role, but our staff are trained and committed to supporting the volunteers. So prior to being involved with any cases, volunteers go through about a 35-hour pre-service training component. They're going to understand what these cases entail, understand kind of the legal requirements in the cases, get to know community services that they may be advocating for, and then they're sworn in by the judge prior to taking cases. There's also ongoing training requirements so that they're fully equipped for the cases that they handle. And so the information session coming up on September 12th, there's going to be 2 classes, so they can choose to either come at 11:30 or 6 p.m. Same information provided, just accommodating schedules, and those are an hour long. And individuals can get that chance to better understand the details of the role, ask those questions that they want to know about, often hear from current volunteers, and find out what a CASA does kind of day to day.
So this is a good place to start, right? Just to make sure that you really want to do it, and then the training follows after that.
Correct. So at that information session, they'll have information on when the specific training dates are, kind of what to look for. Is it in person? Is it hybrid? And the details of kind of getting to know the staff and who will be supporting them.
Is this one of those volunteer situations where you can give as much time as you want, or as little, or is there an average that you see that most of these advocates work?
There is. So there are some minimum requirements that CASAs entail, and that's one of the things that sets us apart in terms of quality, and we want to maintain that quality. So CASAs are required to visit the children in their place or in their environment at least once a month. Now, if that's a Lima home visit, that's a little bit different than, if it's Spencerville, for instance. But we definitely want to make sure that we're maintaining contact with the child so that when we are advocating for their placement, we know that it's a safe environment for them to go through. But different levels and different ages of children require different time commitments. I can definitely spend more time talking to a teenager than I can an infant, so that's where some of those time variances take place.
Right, yeah, all right. So if you're interested, September 12th, register and find out all the information that you could be a volunteer. So thanks for coming.
Yes, thanks so much, Holly.
All right, don't go away. We'll take a look at the weather forecast next.